Module 3, Legal and Regulatory Requirements to the Daycare Industry. When establishing a daycare center, it's crucial to understand and comply with the legal and regulatory requirements specific to your jurisdiction. This module outlines key considerations related to licensing, permits, insurance, and other legal aspects of operating a daycare center, licensing and permits, research and understand the licensing requirements for daycare centers in your area. Contact the appropriate regulatory agency or government department responsible for licensing childcare facilities. Determine the specific criteria and standards you need to meet to obtain a daycare license. This may include requirements related to staff qualifications, child-staff ratios, health and safety guidelines, background checks, facility inspections, and more. Complete the necessary application forms and submit them along with any supporting documentation required. Be prepared for a thorough review process, including interviews, site visits, and documentation verification. Zoning and building permits. Check local zoning regulations to ensure that the location you choose for your daycare center is appropriately zoned for commercial or childcare use. Obtain the necessary building permits and inspections to ensure compliance with building codes, fire safety regulations, accessibility requirements, and other relevant standards. Staffing requirements. Understand the qualifications and certifications required for daycare center staff. This may include educational requirements, training in first aid and CPR, background checks, and any specific certifications mandated by local regulations. Develop a clear staffing plan that adheres to child-staff ratios specified by licensing regulations. Ensure that you have adequate staff to meet safety and supervision requirements based on the age groups and number of children you plan to serve. Health and safety. Establish and implement comprehensive health and safety policies and procedures. This includes protocols for emergency preparedness, accident/incident reporting, medication administration, illness prevention, sanitation practices, and maintaining a safe physical environment. Comply with food safety regulations if you plan to provide meals or snacks to children. Ensure proper food handling, storage, and preparation practices are followed. Insurance coverage. Obtain appropriate insurance coverage for your daycare center, including general liability insurance, property insurance, and workers' compensation insurance. Consult with an insurance professional to understand the coverage options and levels needed to protect your business, staff, and children in your care. Privacy and consent. Develop policies and procedures to protect the privacy and confidentiality of children and their families. Obtain parental consent for sharing children's information, including photographs, within the boundaries of applicable privacy laws. Record keeping and documentation. Establish systems for maintaining accurate and up-to-date records, including enrollment forms, emergency contact information, medical records, incident reports, attendance logs, and consent forms. Familiarize yourself with data protection laws and regulations regarding the storage and handling of personal information. Ongoing compliance. Regularly review and update your policies, procedures, and practices to ensure ongoing compliance with changing regulations. Stay informed about any updates or amendments to licensing requirements, health and safety standards, or other relevant regulations that may affect your daycare center. It's essential to consult with local authorities, regulatory agencies, and legal professionals who specialize in childcare regulations to ensure full compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. Failing to meet legal and regulatory requirements can result in penalties, closure of your daycare center, or potential harm to children in your care. Health and safety regulations. Health and safety regulations play a vital role in ensuring the well-being and protection of children in daycare centers. Here are some key considerations. Physical environment. Daycare centers must provide a safe and child-friendly physical environment. This includes ensuring adequate space, appropriate child-proofing measures, well-maintained equipment, and adherence to building codes and fire safety regulations. Indoor and outdoor safety. Implement safety measures to prevent accidents and injuries. This may include proper supervision, secure fencing for outdoor play areas, regular equipment inspections, non-slip flooring, and safe storage of hazardous materials. Emergency preparedness. Develop and practice emergency response plans for various situations, such as fires, natural disasters, medical emergencies, or lockdowns. Ensure staff members are trained on emergency procedures, including evacuation routes and first aid, sanitation and hygiene. Establish protocols for maintaining cleanliness and hygiene, including regular cleaning and disinfection of toys, surfaces, and facilities. Implement hand-washing routines and promote healthy hygiene practices among staff and children. Health policies. Develop policies for illness prevention and management, including guidelines for excluding sick children, administering medications, and reporting communicable diseases. Ensure staff members are trained in recognizing symptoms of common childhood illnesses and responding appropriately. Staffing requirements. Staffing requirements for daycare centers may vary based on local regulations. Here are some general considerations. Qualifications. Determine the qualifications and credentials required for daycare center staff, including educational background, certifications, and training in early childhood education or a related field. Staff-child ratios. Adhere to the specified staff-child ratios mandated by local regulations. These ratios define the maximum number of children allowed per staff member and vary depending on the age of the children. First aid and CPR. Ensure that at least one staff member present at all times is certified in first aid and CPR. This ensures prompt and appropriate response in case of accidents or medical emergencies. Ongoing professional development. Encourage and support staff members' professional development through training, workshops, and continuing education opportunities. This helps maintain high-quality care and keep staff updated on best practices and safety protocols. Background checks. Conducting background checks on daycare center staff is essential to ensure the safety and well-being of children. Consider the following: criminal background checks. Perform comprehensive criminal background checks on all prospective staff members, including fingerprinting and checks with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. This helps identify any criminal history that may pose a risk to children. Reference checks. Contact and verify references provided by applicants to gain insights into their previous work experience, performance, and character. This can provide additional information about the applicant's suitability for working with children. Child abuse registry checks. Check local child abuse registries or databases to ensure that potential staff members have no history of child abuse or neglect allegations. Ongoing monitoring. Consider implementing protocols for ongoing monitoring of staff members, including periodic rechecks of criminal records and performance evaluations. It is important to comply with all legal requirements related to background checks and maintain the confidentiality of the information obtained during the process. Consult local regulations and legal professionals to ensure full compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Navigate through the process of obtaining the necessary approvals and meeting compliance standards.